I've known about Families Need Fathers for a few years, and I think that came about first because some of my constituents came to me with issues in this general kind of field. And I have to say I've been impressed by Families Need Fathers. I've got to know them over the few years, and I understand there's now 3 staff working in Scotland, both Glasgow and Edinburgh, which wasn't the case when I got to know them at first. And you know, when constituents obviously come to see me about a whole range of issues, and whoever they are, whatever the issue is, I will first of all probably try and write a letter to somebody. That might be the DWP or the health service or the council or the housing association about their issue. But the second thing I often think of is there a support group that might help this person? And of course there's lots of support groups out there. If people have a gambling problem or a drink problem and things, there are various support groups that can help them. And obviously I've learned that if I have a father coming to see me and the issue is a challenge about access to their kids, then I will certainly be pointing them in the direction of Families Need Fathers as a support group. And I went along. I'm glad to say, being in Glasgow, I got to go to the group that meets in the pub. So that was an enjoyable evening. But at the same time, I have to say, listening to people's stories, it was perhaps less enjoyable. And I mean, it seems clear that children benefit hugely if they have contact with both parents. And I think that's a repeated message that I hear that from the schools, I hear that in youth organisations. And you hear the comments, sometimes especially in the primary schools, where a child is being brought up in a one-parent family and the father's not around at all. And often the primary school has very few male teachers as well. And I've heard the comment, you know, some of these children have very few male role models whatsoever. And I think, though, the message we'll be hearing tonight, but it seems clear to me that if parents are splitting up, which is never the ideal, but if that is the case, then the starting point should be shared parenting, or I think now the title is sharing parenting. And we'll probably hear a bit more about the difference of that tonight as we go through. And although there may be many reasons why one parent ends up actually does have more of the care responsibilities and the other parent has less, that may well be the case. But maybe the starting point, and I think we're going to hear more about Sweden tonight, should be that it starts off being 50-50. There's certainly still a lot of work to do in Scotland. Some of the cases that have come to me, the courts do seem to be taking a somewhat biased position, but we might hear more about that this evening, and also even this evening talking to people about the schools. And that's tended to be my experience, that for the schools the default position is often that they will deal with the mother and not deal with the father. The other side is, I think there are some encouraging signs. This is Year of a Dad. We've been hearing a bit more, I think, in Parliament about some of these kind of issues, and there is a commitment to look at the law. Obviously, changing the law is part of the answer. Maybe changing the culture is going to be part of it as well. So I'm very glad that tonight is happening. I believe that Families Need Fathers, and events like this are part of the way of moving things forward and hopefully moving society forward in these areas. So thanks very much for coming, and I'll now hand over to Ian.